Quest Hunter is actually doing still surprisingly well in this current meta, and I gotta say, this deck feels a lot better than the stats show. You do need to be smart about how you play this one depending on the matchup however, so I can imagine why the stats are not looking as amazing as they could be, but it's still a tier 2-ish deck with which you could definitely be hitting easy legend. So in this video I'm gonna give you a quick guide about it, talk about mulligans, win rates, and general tips. So I hope you find the video helpful, and if you do, a like and subscribe would be great, but now let's check out the deck.
You are not prepared!
This still looks pretty close to the deck I showed you last time, but we do actually have a carry-on grub, with which you are going to be covering that 5 mana digit again. This is a beast, and it also is giving you a good chunk of card draw for you, which is kind of nice. Instead of, for this to have room, we removed, I think, a Painted Canvassaur, which still feels like an okay card, but we had to remove something, I guess. And what is this deck trying to do? Well, it's basically trying to do its quest nice and quick, and you usually do actually get the completed by turn 4 or 5 even, if you get lucky. Because you do have plenty of 1, 3, 5, and 7 attack beasts, which are a lot cheaper than they're supposed to. In terms of 1 mana beasts, you only have Plateosaurs and Scarab Keychains, and this is very important because if you actually fish these out with the help of Birdwatching, this makes your 1-drop beast even lower, because this thing is going to make them into a free attack beast, so be very careful what you do with Birdwatching. In terms of free drops, we have the Painted Canvassaur, we have the Catch of the Day, and we can also be making the 1-drops into free drops with Birdwatching. In terms of 5 mana, we have Mukla, Carrion Grub, Ravasaurus Matriarch, and that's about it. And as for 7 drops, we have Sandmaw, as well as a couple of Charrowing Ravagers, but again, with the help of Birdwatching, things can go a lot easier for you if you're smart about it. The cool thing about Birdwatching is you could literally use the same minion twice. Like, let's say you have a Plateosaur in hand and a Birdwatching. Well, you get to play the Plateosaur first, and then Birdwatching, and find yourself a second copy of Plateosaur, and play that one as a free attack, and that way both of these become free attack, but they actually ticked both digits for the quest. So be very, very careful what you're doing with Birdwatching, and be smart about how you could be abusing it for better, faster results. We also have Rangari Scout in here, and with this guy you could be getting yourself so much extra copies of your shock beasts. And that's how you're actually going to be winning against slower matchups like Death Knights, Warriors, that kind of stuff. You need to be a lot greedier. You don't need to play the quest super quick, but you definitely need to play extra copies of the beast you get. So for that to happen, if you play a single Rangari Scout, you're actually going to need 6 slots in your hand to discover all copies of those beasts. But if you have 2 Rangari Scouts, you're gonna need a grand total of 9, which honestly is not that important because the last minion you're gonna be getting usually is not that high quality, because it's gonna be giving you a 4-attack beast, and usually those are not that hot, even though the Sasquatch can be very, very powerful. Going through the cards themselves, we have a couple of Catch of the Day, which are pretty nice to give you the free attack beast as soon as turn 2, and with that you could be rushing down the opponent nicely. You could be making it into a 5-attack with the help of Birdwatching. Fetch is actually something you could be doing on turn 1 instead of playing the quest, and this way the opponent might still consider you a Discover Hunter or Beast Hunter or something. But Fetch on turn 1 usually does give you a couple of cards, even though you do have 2 Rangaris, Exarch Nael, and Ziliax in here, which neither of them are beasts, so it's not a guaranteed draw 2, but most of the time it is. The Plateosaur is pretty cool, gives you a bunch of card draw, but be careful playing it too early because you're probably going to be losing the card this guy draws you. So you might rather play him on turn 3, 4, that kind of stuff, so you can actually have a decent shot at actually playing what this guy gives. The Rangari Scout, usually best played for the quest. Early on playing it is just gonna make your hand a little bit stickier. And with this deck, you definitely need to manage your hand to be not very big, because Shock is gonna at least give you 3 minions, but most of the time at least 6. And that is usually the sweet spot against most opponents. The Scarab Keychain, pretty decent, gives you some extra cards to be playing early on. Usually you don't have too much to do, unless you get lucky and actually curve out like a god with all of the 4 beasts you need. The tracking is pretty nice, again giving you a lot of extra options, and you do get to discover with this one, and that way you get to discount your alien encounters. That also goes for Birdwatching, with which, like I said, you could be very creative with it and get yourself minions and different digits that aren't usually theirs. Fishing yourself a good beast with this thing is also pretty nice, and this is gonna be one of the ways you get to complete the quest nice and quick. Cower and Fear, great because you get to kill something and also play the same beast you were thinking about playing. The Painted Canvassaur is a great free attack beast for you, and it also could be making your board a lot harder to deal with a bunch of Divine Shields, Reborns, Lifesteals, Rushes, poisons even, that kind of stuff. Niall again helps with the discovers for you. You are going to get to discount your alien encounters a lot easier this way, and it's also a great way to actually fish out your important beats later on so you can actually complete the quest nice and quick, but this definitely is kind of slowing you down because it's a free mana, not a beast. King Mukla is also a great minion to be tempoing out. A lot of opponents are going to have hand size issues because of him, and having yourself a turn 2 or turn 3 5/6 on the board can be no joke. Same can be said for Sandmaw, who is also an elemental beast with 7 attacks, so this is a super cheap way to get that 7 digit out of the way. And a lot of opponents can't actually handle this guy too easily early on, so it is gonna have to make them go out of their way to get it out. Carrion Grub, like I said, a great way to thin out the deck, giving you a couple of cards. Even though you're gonna have to pay 1 mana for them, you're still gonna be very happy playing this guy. He's also a 5 attack beast, so you're gonna be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The Ravenosaur Matriarch is pretty decent, gives you a way to actually kill opponents even through the taunts, so killing some important minions could be pretty great this way. And it's also a nice tempo card, like play this on turn 3 or turn 4 and you basically killed what the opponent played and you also stuck a 4-drop basically. The Alien Encounter is pretty good, gives you something cheap to actually protect yourself with, and it's a great way to tempo out too. So I definitely like the Discover package a lot in this deck. The Terrorwing Ravager, pretty decent minion for only 4 mana, has 7 attack, 5 and rush, 5 health and rush, and it's a great minion to just straight out tempo, kill something small with it, and remain menacingly on the board with. Shaladrasil, also pretty awesome, and no, Shaladrasil is not that awesome if we gotta be completely honest, but the reason why Shaladrasil and heck even Ziliax are great in this deck is because Shock is gonna a lot of the times gives you an 8 attack beast, which would be Agamagam, the Warlock card that allows it to actually play a card and the price would be the opponent's health. So this way you get to attack the opponent for 8 health or for 9 health and actually corrupt the Shaladrasil and keep on living your life while the opponent lost a third of theirs. Here's what Shock does. Battlecry discover any 8, 6, and 4 attack beast and sets their cost to 2, and like I said, one of the most important beasts you could be discovering would be Agamagam. Sadly, I can't really show you all of the beasts straight out with the exact attack, but a lot of times you're going to be seeing Krog, Crater King, which would be an okay thing to be picking as well. The Stargrazer ain't the worst. On the 6-drop, Meadow Strider could be something to pick out, as Fixodon is something you're gonna see a lot. Sasquatch would be one of the best 4-drops you could be picking. Tyrannogill is something you could be seeing. Bonechill Stegodon as well. I was actually not showing sparse data, but here it is. Agamagam, like I said, a lot of time would be amazing to be picking up, and this is indeed the best thing you could be grabbing. Ursoc is also great on the 6-drop. King Plush is also something you could be seeing. Octosari is not that hot on 8, but you don't really have that many with 8 attack if you're noticing. Like, you only have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure. You can't actually get Malorn out of this. If you're not Imbue, you're never gonna see Malorn. I think. It's like that, right guys? Do let me know in the comments, but I'm pretty sure I've never seen this guy as an option. And I think that's about it for the 8 attack beasts. So it is actually a very curated list, and you're almost always gonna get yourself Agamagam this way, which would be pretty huge. The 6-drop beasts, you noticed also some pretty good ones, like Omen can be huge, Ursoc can be great, King Plush not so hot, but in some cases it actually might be worth it. The Sphyxidon is kind of cool, and so on and so forth. As for the 4-drops, Sasquatch is definitely at the top of the naughty list for the opponent, as well as, technically speaking, you could also be going for Kragwa, but you don't really have that many spells, so it's not that worth it. There's some other okay looking 4-drops, but nothing too fancy. And last, we do have Ziliax in here, which is going to be the Twin Plus Perfect module. Again, great to get played out of Agamagam. All around, depending on the matchup, you will be going fast or you will be going greedy. It really comes down to what you're playing against, so if you're against something like a Death Knight, you might actually want to slow down completing the quest and play Shock only when you have at least 1 Rangari Scout, and you're going to be hoping definitely to get Agamagam out of the big drop. Basically, you're going to see what we did in some of the games, and you're going to notice that in some games it's actually a lot better to wait instead of just going as quickly as you can, because a lot of opponents do have at least a little bit of removal, and the first wave of big beasts is not going to be big enough. For the matchups, here's what we have. This is in Legend. Let's see Diamond through Legend. Nothing too polarizing, I'd say, but Psycho Rogue might be a bit of a problem. Dragon Warrior a bit on the negative. Ravenous Cliff Demon Hunter and Control Death Knight. The rest kind of good though, including Midrange Shaman. For the Mulligan, here's what we have. Always keep the quest, but it's not always played on turn 1. You could wait on turn 2 to play it if you're not going to be playing any other beasts. Scarab Keychain is great, Catch of the Day, Bukla, Platysaur, Exarch Niall could be nice. The Sandmaw could be okay depending on the matchup. Fetch is great, Tracking's okay. The rest probably not so much, even though curving into a Ravenosaur Matriarch could be good, but I'd say that's a lot better when you're going second. On the coin we can see plenty of the same stuff, so mulligan accordingly. Here I'd say even a Terrorwing Ravager could be amazing on turn 3, but it comes down to the matchup. Against a Druid for instance, this would be huge. All around that's it for the deck, not the cheapest out of the lot, but definitely pretty fun and pretty different from what we're used to seeing for Hunter right now. So if you're sick of trying to play Discover Hunter, this is definitely much easier to play with, even though it's not going to get you as high legend as the other one could. Hope you enjoyed the guide, and if you did, a like and subscribe would be great, but now let's check out some of my games on my road back to top 1000 legend. Hope you enjoy. First game of the day, against Dick.
Who wants to play?
Let the hunt begin.
Okay, the fetch ought to be good, the rest probably not so much. This guy shouldn't be too quick. Here we need to be slightly on the greedy side. That's a pretty good thing for a turn 3 or 4. Let's see how that go. Honestly, turn 1 I can just fetch. Ain't no reason for me to play the quest right now. It's not like he knows what's up, so there's that. Well, I'm not with the coins, so it's not gonna be a turn 3, that's for sure. Okay, so far so bad. Can't get any of the cheap shit. The cheap shit eludes me. This ought to help. Okay, this is gonna count as a free drop. Good news, it's also gonna discount this, or it's gonna activate this, depending on what I need, but yeah, I'm gonna use this as a free mana. Free attack, more like it, because it gets buffed. Which is not ideal, because I don't have that many one-attack beasts in the deck, but still. Game is doing what it can so far. Needs me to play a beast, so I can at least do some of these. He didn't play what he discovered, wonder what that means. Let's just use this for now. Does he still play some Battlegrounds or some shit? No. I'd rather do it like that, so the 7-5 has a bigger chance to live. Hey, how's it going? Say my name. Welcome, welcome, bud. How you doing? How you doing?
Surely this way is west.
Okay, there we go. Quest completed. Problem is, I do want to be playing this guy with that guy still. Let me go ahead and do it like...
Something to consider.
Kinda don't even want to play this. Oh, it's actually still free. Fuck me, man. I need to find a Platysaur.
Busy night, but there's always room for another.
For some reason, I thought this was the other location, not gonna lie.
Job's done.
How's it going, Ramash? Welcome, welcome. Good old ZDS. I don't have any silly Warlock decks. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Ah, you're new here.
I don't dabble in the dark arts of silly Warlock decks. God damn it, son. I'm never gonna find that thing, huh? That's not bad. Oof. Sure. Bruh. Where the fucking beats at, man? Well, grab this one, I think.
Enjoy your holiday.
The one-attack piece of shit just doesn't show, huh? Well, what can I say? Sometimes we curve out like ass. To be fair, we also kind of fucked ourselves over picking what we picked with the bird watching the first time, but I did need me a cheap beast that turn, so if I could pick catch of the day, I would have, but I couldn't, so I didn't. Yeah, I guess we're gonna be connecting for a good chunk. Not too good though, but let's go like this. I don't know, we're not in too big a hurry. Let's not allow him to suck too much, you know? Another piece of shit? Okay. Good news is waiting this long allows me to actually triple do the thing. There you fucking are, you piece of piss. Not gonna be able to get everything down, but still. Okay, it's kind of cool. I'm just gonna let the top deck get burnt. Why not Discover Hunter? I already did a video about Discover Hunter. It's from today, actually. An hour ago, probably. I'm trying to go through different decks, you know? Don't want to stick down to just a single. You know how that go. Nice. Not ideal, but technically it's not that bad either. I should have used the +5, but didn't have enough time. Could have hero powered, could have done a lot better last turn. Been mighty slow.
I remember this place well.
Could ceaseless expanse, doesn't seem like it though. He's looking like he's in danger. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he's in danger. For a first game, we are a bit on the sluggish side, not gonna lie.
Talk, little Death Knight.
That was a bit weird. That was a bit weird, wasn't it? Could actually do this.
Time is short.
This should be fine for now. Kinda was expecting Ursak to resummon me a couple of more reborns, but a little bit of value like that.
Is there trouble?
He already played a Corpse Explosion, they usually run a single copy. I think we're in the clear. Let's leave it like that so we can have a little bit of refill potential. I was considering maybe shuffling this back into my deck, but I'd rather keep the pressure rolling.
Relaxation for all, and all thanks to me. Relaxation for all, and all thanks to me.
Pretty sucky. Pretty sucky. But wait, there's more. I get to shuffle that back in. Is okay, that was fun. That was kind of fun. I do need to climb quite a lot of ranks though. Been having a little bit too much fun lately. Bit too much fun lately, huh?
Huln versus Illyria.
Cower before Death's Keeper.
Let the hunt
Wheel Warlock is just not good right now, Ramosh. Wheellock ain't it, Chief, ain't it? This one could be very good if we curve into it. I'd rather hold on to it, honestly. Okay, we got ourselves a Beetle. That's nice. Could go for a turn 3 Matriarch even. Be a lot cooler if we also get Catch of the Day. When the new mini set comes, Actimel shouldn't be too far out now. We should be hearing about it. Probably in the next 10 days. Okay, again, he does not need to know what we know. Okay. Let's get this for a potential 1-2 behind a wall of taunts.
Sisters, my will shall lead us to victory.
I can snap that off. What's gonna be, man? Okay, let's see what it gets. 6 damage would be scurry. He gets the 6 damage. Scurry. Okay, we already have 1 and 5. There's a 7. There's a 3 with a couple of beasts on it. I'd get the 3 with the bird watching 7-8 card. Ooh. That's kind of neat.
Lush wilds and clear skies. This could be
If he has his pupil already in, it's not a big deal that he had to waste like this. This is gonna be my 7. Do you have Drain Eyes in this? It's kind of nice.
These could belong to a brand new species.
Wouldn't mind top decking the Sand mod too, so I can actually play both of these. Spell Burst for Nihil or Scout would be even better. Let's see though. And there's that wall of taunts I was talking about for this rock to be worth. Matriarch is kinda neat, but not neat enough. Is it neat enough? It's gonna slow me down.
Something to consider.
Let's see what this do. That ain't bad at all. If that's how we're gonna do it, let's just do this then. I tap with these for a potential Sylvanas out of him, at least we're doing something. It's not too bad. Could have been better. Think I can afford to ignore. Ooh, well, that helps. There's my 7/7. I also get to do this. Get myself hopefully a Rangari Scout, and next turn we get ourselves some good stuff. In this case, maybe we don't ignore. I could connect for 10 right now. But I think I got this man in the long run. Try to make some room. Okay, so next turn we get to play both of these. Double up a few of those and even play one of them. If I do get myself the Warlock, stuff would be pretty cool to actually drop a silly. Hey, how's it going, Ruby? Welcome. Didn't mean to caps, I thought you were excited. Yeah, Shimei Rogue's also pretty fun. Already did a video about it though. Gotta keep that cyclage going.
Now, sisters, my instinct shall hunt down.
Okay. Think he's desperate. Won't have room for everything, but I'll have room for enough. There you go. As King Plush is lethal, question mark? Not really.
An interesting thought.
This is lethal a lot. This is a whole lot of lethal. I almost botched it. Best... I mean, this is the best because I don't have enough room. But yeah. When you get Agamagam, things go 0 to 60 real fucky fast. Yeah, almost.
Let the hunt begin.
I think I like the whole hand. Gotta be careful with what we birdwatch though, because could make it very hard for me to actually get myself a 1-drop. Let's keep the mystery for him. Still don't have anything to do. Think I'd rather tracking.
My patience has reached its limit.
We could actually tempo this out with the help of this. It actually lives. I don't know, it's not that hot though.
Something to consider.
Let's try and get the snipe with this though. Maybe it's not that bad. It's not that good either though. Nah.
Something to consider.
He did birdwatch. Next turn he's probably gonna have 5/5s, so I guess this doesn't kill 5/5 anyway. Let's just do it. Worst case scenario, we have a thing to kill with. Next turn this snipes off, the other one kills, and we're left with a 5/4. He's left with a 1/1. It's not too hot, but still. Okay, he gets those. Well, we're gonna match those. Wouldn't mind top decking a free drop, or, you know, bird watching into a free drop. Should be easy. Could even play Scarab Keychain first, then bird watching, and find myself a free drop Scarab Keychain and buff this one on the board too. That'd be a kind of a cool way to do things. Rushy Murloc is going to be a free. Pop-up shit. Fuck me sideways. Okay, that ain't too hot. That ain't too hot. That's kind of cool. This completes the quest for me. But it's also kind of rough. Should I just taunt that up for now? Actually, what am I talking about? That don't complete shit. Did I have an option to complete shit? The other one was Ziliax. What was the third one? It wasn't a free drop, I think, but free attack that is. Yeah, that's also a possibility indeed, Sabo. Actually, what am I talking about? It is a free attack. I'm so dumb. I literally was thinking about making it into a free attack. Anyway, next time we get to shock his ass. Against this guy, not sure we can wait around for the Discover Rangari Scout, so we might not need it either. He only drew a single tribe in there. I'm a shocky. Rather do it like this. Do have a big ass Ziliax for this Agamagam to feel nice. That's one of the main reasons we're running a Ziliax in here, by the way, for anybody wondering. Agamagam, as you saw, 3 games in a row is what we get. I could have protected that shock, but it's not that big a deal. Not that big a deal, though.
Insignificant.
Alright, kill this.
Something to consider.
Should have tracked first. Could have had an activated challenge with Syl.
Time is short.
Should be on a pretty rough spot right now. Not that very many things help him here. I don't think anything helps him here, honestly. They just don't bend that way. I'll just lose with extra steps, but that's none of my business. Okay, well, that was fun. Wasn't he?